Right, hi guys, welcome back. And it is the last worksheet on mass rate and density. And in this question, it's really a lot of applications. It's the same formula over and over again. And the formula, in case you forget, it is this formula. Density is equal to mass over volume. And for those of us who like to use the triangle to remember, so you should have mass at the top, density, and volume. So hopefully this will be helpful for those of us who likes to use a triangle. All right. And let's get started. So the first question over here, fairly straightforward. Originally you have got 30 cm cube of water. And then when they put in 10 steel ball bearings, the reading rise to 50 cm cube. So because of that, we know that the volume of the ball bearings, the volume of 10 ball bearings should be 20. All right. Let me just write that down. So volume of 10 ball bearings is going to be 50 minus 30. So that gives you 20 cm cube. All right. And so since they asked us to find the mass of one steel ball bearing, I just need to find what is the volume of one of them first. All right. And the volume of one of them is just divided by 10. All right. You get it in cm cube. And I'm going to continue with the working by right. But then I noticed something. Hey, they are trying to trick me. The units given for density is in kg per meter cube, which is why it is important for me to change my volume to meter cube as well. All right, so that's why I did one more steps to find out what is it in meter cube before I sub it into the equation. And then it's fairly straightforward from there. Right now, and for question 2, all right, quite straightforward. Find the volume of the block and determine if it's pure gold. So when you do the calculation, you realize that the density is 22.78. All right, whereas density of pure gold is 19 point something. That's a very big difference. All right, so we can conclude that block is definitely not pure gold, as the density is way too different already. Right. And the last two questions are actually very tricky questions. All right, let's go through number 3 first. Alloy consists of 25% metal P and 75% metal Q by volume. So what it means is that 25% of the volume is P, 75% of the volume is Q. Right, that's how it works. So since we know the total volume, I can find out what is the volume of P. So volume of P will be 25% of 150. So this is the volume of P. Same thing, the volume of Q is just 75% of 150. So this is the volume of Q. All right. And since I have their respective density, I can find the mass of P and the mass of Q. All right. So because of that, then the average density. Now, there is something very important over here, just to remind everyone. One of the careless mistakes, one of the common mistakes made by students is that when we ask them for average density, they like to take density number 1 and density number 2, and they add it up and divide by 2. That is wrong. All right, that's wrong. In order to find average density, let me write this down. In order to find average density, you will need to find out what is the total mass, and then you divide by the total volume. So there's no shortcut here. You have to find out what's the total mass, and then you divide by the total volume, as you can see over here. All right, and that's your answer. So once again, please do not find the average of the two density. It doesn't work that way. All right. Now moving on, and question number 4 is the same type of questions as question number 3, except that in this case they say that it's an alloy that is 90% by mass. So it means 90% of the mass is nickel and 10% of the mass is chromium. All right. So then they are very nice. They tell us that a piece of nickel with a mass of 90 grams. So if you look at this, right, nickel. So 90 grams is actually 90%, which means that 10 grams is actually 10%. So if you understand the question, you should have no problem with that. Right, so anyway, moving on, we know that the mass is 90 grams and the volume is, they also give us, is 10 cm cube. So because of that, we can actually process it accordingly later. Next, moving on. Again, like what I discussed just now, so 90% is 90 grams, so 10% must be 10 grams. The total mass will be 10 grams. 100 grams. 90 plus 10 is 100 grams. So from there, we can use we can use a triangle, right? So the triangle that we have just now was mass, volume, and density, right? So to find the total volume, and we know that is 11.904. right? So since the volume of nickel is 10, the volume of chromium will be 11.904 minus 10. And you get this value. So what's the density of the chromium? Same thing, mass divided by volume, and you get this answer, right? And that's it. That's all for this chapter. Now, once again, the last two questions, question 3 and 4, is actually quite confusing. It's a little bit complicated. So if you don't understand it, please do contact your physics teachers. All right? And I will see you guys in 2021. Bye, guys.